Keller Williams, and I am alongside Mary Beth Olive, our CEO and team leader, business consultant here at KW Prosperity. Um, Thanks for coming on with us, Mary Beth.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Beth Olive. We're going to learn a little bit about me.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess the best place to start before we dive into really getting your license, what our world looks like, and what our coaching programs and that looks like. Let me first introduce myself. And again, like I said, my name is Matt. I've been with Keller Williams now for 7 years. It'll be 7 years in August. I started back in 2013 with our Morristown location, and I've now been with the Keller Williams Prosperity location in Wayne about a year. It was last July that I came over here. I have my real estate license. It is currently in referral status, but I got that back in 2013 as well. So I went through the licensing process, went through the class. My dad's a real estate attorney, so I've kind of been in the real estate world for my entire life. What about you, Mary Beth?
I did not come from a real estate background. I've been with Keller Williams my entire career.
Mm-hmm.
I started 16 years ago in 2004. And my background, I went to college for sculpture. I went to West Virginia University and really loved functional art. I was a welder, a woodworker, and somehow fit space and people together in an artistic way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had to realize that there was a connection there between that and what essentially I wound up doing with the real estate career. And I always worked in the restaurant since I'm 15 and for the same family. And so I worked my way in the restaurant. I was a bus girl, I was a waitress, a manager, a bartend, food runner, all that stuff. And I was able to do the hiring, firing, party bookkeeping, all of that.
Yep.
And that lifestyle really was not giving me a life worth living. Okay, so part of our mission statement at Keller Williams is to create a life worth living through building a career worth having and a business worth owning. And so the life worth living part was not happening in the restaurant business. And what it ultimately ended with was me getting into a car accident with a good customer of ours. And it's what I guess it was a wake up call to say, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, I was blessed to have a really good friend, customer from the restaurant who was a very successful commercial broker. And he shared with me that instead of $10 tips, I should be getting $10,000 tips in doing exactly what I was doing in the restaurant, which was great customer service.
Yep.
So essentially, I went out and I got my license. Like some people that are on today, I did it as quick as 2 weeks, and then went and took the state test in the week 3, and I passed in my first time.
Yep.
And I will tell you, there are some tricks to that, and Matt is going to do a follow-up email with some. I believe you have a
study guide, some tips and tricks just to pass the class exam and the state exam. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you're gonna get that as a follow-up. And but I was lucky enough to pass on my first time, and I excitedly called Bill Barglow, who's my dear friend, and he said, "Oh no, you couldn't come work with me because I'm a one-man show, and that would do you a disservice. You should go somewhere that they have great training, and go somewhere that will pay you, at least 70%." And so when I was a brand new agent, that's what I was looking for. And in 2004, Keller Williams was so brand new to New Jersey. I was new coming into the industry. I didn't know what was new. I had looked around, and every other brokerage was telling me, no, that doesn't happen in this industry. And then I found Keller Williams actually through one of my employees at the restaurant. Her mom, Gina Coppola, was a Keller Williams agent, and she introduced it to me. It made sense. She set me up with an appointment to meet the team leader, and from there, I was able to really build a fantastic career.
Well, you've been in the team leader role now for about 12 years. The team leader role is essentially, as I mentioned before, the CEO of the office. You know, are making sure everyone's getting plugged in, making sure our trainings are all top notch. And I would just say, like, to show you and I, like in our world, I mean, in the 12 years you've been in team leader, you've probably attracted about 1,200 agents to the company.
Yeah, I actually was doing those numbers. It's over 1,300 agents while I was at different market centers and helping different ownership groups build great organizations. Yeah.
And then I would say for myself, I've helped attract about 300 to 400 agents over the 7 years I've been with the company.
Yeah.
So combined, I bring that up just because we're very passionate in
Yeah.
terms of helping agents launch their careers, grow their businesses, and really be successful in the industry. And that's really, we've helped, about 1,500 people do that, and successfully do that. So,
Well, I think Matt, I think we have passion for it. I think we
yep,
do it well. I
yep,
think we understand, and this is, I think some of our guests that are going to come on can speak to this. We understand team, and
yep,
we know that surrounding ourselves with amazing talent is complete leverage,
yep,
and it's a win-win for everyone. So what we do well, I think, is make sure that the talent we surround ourselves with
yep,
is shown the right tools and resources, because Matt's right in saying we have that experience of bringing people to Keller Williams, but I do believe it's because of our years inside Keller Williams,
mhm,
actually using the tools and resources to see results, evidence-based, results, that we're passionate about it because we know it, we've seen it. So
absolutely. And I think that's a good place to start. So why don't over the next couple minutes, why don't you talk about the benefits of really what a real estate career looks like, and the benefits of start one, and then I'll go into how to actually get your license for those who may not be in class yet.
sure. Well, I always will say this, that typically an agent will get into the business for the flexibility of time and the potential to earn whatever you want.
Hmm.
And that flexibility of time sometimes will result in not knowing how to run your own schedule, and then there is no structure.
Hmm.
And so what you have to understand is, getting into the business, you ultimately become your own boss. You ultimately become a CEO of the best new corporation on the block.
Hmm.
And you then also have this amazing opportunity to earn whatever your heart desires, as long as you're willing to put the habits and the time into it, to reflect what your goals are. And we have amazing coaches to help you
Yep.
get there, except you, and this seems to be the theme of a few conversations today, have
Hmm.
to show up.
Yep.
And so if you show up and you plug in, you will absolutely, absolutely succeed in our world. We are committed to that. And in the real estate industry, period, whether it's us or someplace else, it has to be right for you. It is a partnership, the company you choose to work with. And I think that we do that best. I think that over the years, Gary Keller, who's the founder of our company, he's an agent at heart.
Yep.
He always looks out for the agent, and the leadership of each individual office has that same philosophy, that if the agents are not doing well in their business, then the company is not doing well in the business. So I was an agent. I grew a business through our models and systems. Matt and I are actually
That's
doing a
right
series right
there.
now on the MREA, the
Yep.
Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I, as a brand new agent, where I was able to have 21 transactions in my first year by following the models and the systems of KW.
Yep.
And it's not just KW; it's the whole entire industry, because the evidence in that book is not biased to only KW agents. And yet it's the formula for success. So I was able to do that in the first year, and by year 4 I was doing 50 transactions. So you can start today and put a plan that you want to do 50 transactions in your first year,
Yep.
and that's possible. You can also be getting into the business to pay for your vacation in your family, and
Yep.
that could be $10,000, and that is possible too, and we welcome both.
Yeah, but I'm just holding up. I mean, it's probably hard to see, but I'm just showing up what Mary Beth is saying is our economic model, which essentially boils it down to, whether you want to do this full time and you want to earn $200,000 a year, $1 million a year, or if you want to do this part time and make $20,000 in supplemental income, we can create the path for you to hit that goal.
That's right.
And really, with that book, it's taking you through think a million, getting your mindset right, earn a million, creating your systems and models to earn the million, then net a million, and then receive a million, and building that seventh level business where you're kind of out of the business yet you're still, you know,
You're still
part of
you're receiving profits.
correct.
And so I do want to talk a bit about that before we move on.
Yeah.
Is we also think very big. And I've seen people come into the industry and set a goal to have $1 million sales business and do it in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that same agent who then, once they hit that million, now they want to go to 4 and 5 million, and they're on that path.
Yep.
And the way that you can do it, though, is only through the support of coaches and systems and models. And technology is huge also in our world now, as it is in every world, every industry. And so I do have a bias on our technology, and we'll hear a little bit about that as well today.
Yeah, we're gonna have Megan coming on later today. We've got Eric and Aida coming on in a couple minutes to talk about the coaching and how they ultimately help agents plug into the models. Before I do that, I just want to spend really no more than 1 to 2 minutes just on for those of you who aren't in licensing school yet, the process to get your license. You have to take a 75-hour pre-licensing course. Right now is as good a time as any because normally you have to take that class in person in a classroom setting. Right now, you can take it online. You can do it in as fast as 2 weeks. You can do it over the course of a month. I'll be emailing you some different schools and links that you can check out tomorrow. Then you'll pass the class exam. Then you'll pass the state exam. You'll do your fingerprints, and then you'll select a brokerage. Once you select a brokerage, it takes about 10 to 14 days for the state of New Jersey to process your application. Once they process the application, you'll be active. And then from there, you will need to join a local realtor board, which as I'm on this page in terms of costs, you have to join a local realtor board, which covers your National Association of Realtor dues and your local state of New Jersey dues. You'll join a local MLS. In our world, the GSMLS really covers Morris County, Sussex County, and then the New Jersey MLS, which is the other one in our area, covers Passaic, Bergen, Union, Essex counties, and those run anywhere between $100 to $150 a year. So without getting too bogged down into this, the one thing that Mary Beth, you and I always talk about, it's about $1,500 to $2,000 a year, regardless of what brokerage you join. It's about $1,500 to $2,000 a year to be an active agent, which is really a small price to pay for the upside that we're going to get into now as we introduce you to our coaches. So let me turn on the videos for Eric.
And getting into a business like this while you're doing that is absolutely an investment in yourself. I will encourage you, if you're not this type of person, you have to start to become this person, is you have to read great books. You have to keep that mind active with business ideas and listen to what other CEOs are doing. There's an amazing podcast called Think Like a CEO. It's with Gary Keller, our CEO. And there's all sorts of things. And also get yourself a journal. You want to be writing. You have to be writing down your ideas, your thoughts, things that you hear, so that you can internalize it. So
perfect. So Eric and Aida Eric is our productivity coach and Aida is our launch coach. Eric can't turn on the video right this second, yet his audio is on, so he can introduce himself that way. And then Aida, who is on our screen now, leads the launch coaching program. So Eric, why don't we start with you? Do you want to introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about the PC coaching program?
Sure, sure. So, PC coaching, I don't know.
There you are.
Oh, wow, look at that. Right on cue. So, PC coaching is a great way to jump right in. When I first got my license for the first 4 years, I just winged it, if you will. In most cases, you are told, here's a desk, you have a laptop, it's not even here's a desk, here's a computer, and here's a phone. It's here's a desk, you have a laptop, and you have a phone, right? And you figure things out. And it took me a few years to do that. But when I got serious about the business, I signed up for coaching myself. And I went I went from not listing properties and not doing transactions. I was more of a rental agent. The world has changed since then dramatically. I went from that to um, listing 26 properties in 6 weeks. And, that's a great foundation. And so for me, I'm a firm believer in coaching. I coach myself. I think Mary Beth has a coach. Aida has a coach, all the way up the chain. My coach has a coach. And so coaching is a really key component to anyone's success in this business. And,
Eric, I have a question for you. What makes you so passionate about being a coach? Because I love, we've talked before about your passion for helping others succeed, and that's actually something that really nourishes you. Talk to us about how, why you enjoy being the coach and what a day looks like, working with you as the PC coach.
Well, I love to see the change. Mary Beth hit on something which I speak to almost every class when I teach a class, that most people, and I've asked this hundreds of times, and you get the same three answers. Why did you get into the business? And you can ask yourself, if anyone who's watching this, the top three answers are, if I want to be my own boss, freedom, flexibility, same thing, and the money. So flexibility, freedom, and the money. And far too often people get into the business and without much direction, they nail it on the flexibility and the freedom. And when you get the flexibility and freedom, the money is very elusive. And that's just the raw reality of this business. So I like taking people and putting them in front of the tools and then teaching them how to use it. And so, coaching for us is basically when you're in PC coaching, you have a consultant like Mary Beth, but Mary Beth's helping other people. So we help the people who are just learning, just growing. We help the people who maybe are doing 10 deals a year and they want to go to 20. And so what that looks like is scripts and dialogues. It looks like time blocking. There's, more than 15, 16 people in coaching now. And so there's a group of people and you're able to mastermind with those agents. It's a lot of the foundational stuff of building a business in the real estate sales world.
I think most importantly, though, Eric, you're toning it down a bit in that Eric's very, very good at charting the path in the conversation when you're on a phone call or when you have an objection. He can navigate that conversation beautifully to get the seller or the buyer to where you need them to be to accept an appointment.
Right.
And then when he's on an appointment, he is masterful at getting the signature. And so by working in the program with Eric, along with Aida, and she'll speak on what her strengths are, you're also there to see his art and how he works. So you're also getting a mentor, a coach, and he's quite actually comical. So you also get some good times.
Yeah, and one of the values of that is, especially at Prosperity, Keller Williams Prosperity is, and I've been at a few different, like Mary Beth and Matt, we've been at multiple locations. And this is the only Keller Williams who invested made the investment, and we have a space. I'm pointing over to the space over there. We have a large space that accommodates over 20, 24 people. And so if you're here and you choose to come for a couple hours and do some business in our space here, while you're on the phones, first off, I'm usually on the phones as well. I took off my headset for this call. I'm going to be leaving in about 5-6 minutes to get back on the phone. But so I'm usually on the phone. So you get to hear me. Aida's down here. She hears me. And I'll often get off the phone. She goes, "That was great." I'm like, "Who's she talking to? Me? Oh, me? Right." So you get to hear what I'm saying, and that starts to absorb. And then I get to listen to you, and I get to say, okay, it'll distract me, which is good because that's my job. So I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll be like, okay. They hung up the phone. Hey, so I heard you say like, or 26 times. I'll keep counting. And that's what coaching's for. It's not here to be your best friend. It's here to say, hey, Mary Beth, you said 26 times. Let's try to get that down to 10. Let's try to knock that down to 10 times.
How I Met Your Mother. Yeah.
And that's what think of a basketball coach. I mean, I'm not a sports guy, but you think of a basketball coach, all right, go do it again. And it really sharpens your skills so that you can be the black belt or the third degree black belt of closing transactions and closing buyers and sellers and getting that money.
Eric, I have one last question for you before I want to ask Aida about what the launch coaching program is about. For the new agents or the attendees on the call, I would say that when they go through the class, they're really being taught all the legalities of what you can and can't do in real estate. But can you walk us through what a day in the life of a realtor looks like in yourself or in the PC world, so they know that if they come into our world, what does Monday morning or a Monday in general look like in the PC program or the life of an agent?
Well, so in a PC agent, you picked a rare day because Monday is the full day, right? So, 4 days a week we meet at 8 a.m. Usually it's in person, but in the last 6-7 weeks, it's been just the way we're meeting here. Mm-hmm. So at 8 a.m. for 15 or 20 minutes, usually goes over a few minutes, we just do a morning stand-up. Motivation, dealing with maybe an objection from yesterday or whatever. And then from 8:30 to 9, it's practice. From 9 to 12 is lead generation. Part of that lead generation time is database management, lead management. It's very structured. I don't have my calendar. I don't want to get off screen to do that, but I'd show you my calendar. It's very structured. And the reason it is because, like I said, when we get into this business, we're independent contractors. We are our own boss. Mm-hmm. And far too often people they just go all over the place. And
can I just interrupt by saying that Monday is an important day, and as Eric says, it's a full day. Some people may not have the schedule to give the full day, and that's something that's really great with our programs, because the way he's organizing it is at 8 a.m. usually, even if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can probably jump on an 8 a.m. call, get your energy, your real estate energy for the week, and then you have your week set up that you might not be able to jump on the calls for the morning, but maybe you use that lunch hour purposefully. And then again, on Monday night, there's a call session. So there's no excuse, because you could jump in, and if it's not 4:30, you could show up at 5 or 5:30.
Right.
And so Eric will help tailor make your schedule if there are some other obligations, especially in the beginning when you're getting into the business. Let's be honest. Some of you are going to have jobs that I would definitely encourage you, if it's keeping the bills paid and you have to do it, you're just going to have to figure out time management better. If you have the ability to have a 6-month cushion of your expenses in reserve, I would say go for it and do 100% full throttle into the program. I just want everybody to know that there's the needs analysis and the consultation that Eric and Aida both do.
I'll leave you with this, and then I do have to hop for a 3 minutes. So we have an agent in our program who is a full-time. He's got his main career. What he wants out. He's put his time in. He wants out. So he got into real estate about 6 months ago, and he got into coaching about 2 months ago. We're about to close his first transaction, That's Eddie Ruiz.
That's
And
awesome.
yep, and Eddie's going to close, and he'll make several $1,000s. And we're working on 2 or 3 other listings right now. The idea is that if he can start to close 1 deal a month for 3 months, he can retire the job that he really wants to get out of. And while he was in, I think he's with us for several months. It's not until he really got into coaching and got serious about it where we're able to create and tailor make a plan to say, hey, let's get you out of that job in 3 months. Let's get you out of that job in 4 months. And so it's that's what I love. I love helping people do that. And on that
Thank
note,
you, Eric. Thanks for coming
I'll
on.
see you guys later.
Yeah,
And-
Eric speaks about closing that gap from where you are to where you want to be is what's called a coach will get you there. So Aida, talk to us, mama. Tell us about you. What do you do?
Actually, I was searching on my phone right now feedback from agents on our launch coaching. So I was going to show it to you, but I cannot. The conversation is sometimes so long, so I couldn't find it. I was kind of answering those questions that you asked, Eric, like why this is important for me or what kind of, I was just trying to answer those questions for myself. And why I'm doing this is definitely it's probably a selfish feeling. I don't know if it's an answer that will help this program, but it makes me feel so good that I was a step, maybe very small step for people who's growing to whatever they need to be in their life. And I have goosebumps right now saying that too.
Yeah.
It's just very fulfilling feeling to know that I was able to, and I was going to show you actually texts from agents saying like, I'm really appreciative having you as, being in your program. Otherwise, I probably would not be in this business. Like those words are priceless for me.
It's life-changing.
Yeah, those are like, so that's about it.
No, that's awesome. And I would just say with your program, it's Wednesday nights. So for those, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or you're not, you can make it to the 6 o'clock. And Aida, it's a 8-week, 9-week program that it handles ethics, how to write a contract, how to do listing presentations, buyer presentations, all that stuff. Can you talk
Matt,
a little bit about that?
What's super cool about it is this time has forced us into doing virtual classroom.
Yeah.
And I think this is really working for you.
Yes, it does. And I actually want to continue this way because I think it saves everyone so much time. And people who cannot make 2 classes, I think it's more accessible for more people this way. So even after this finishes, I would rather continue this way because I see like the outcome of our last class was amazing.
Yep.
And I don't know if you would like to share my my cell phone number on the group here. So that way, whoever will be interested in joining our training today at 6, they can text it to me saying, look, you are offering, for us to join a class. So they can, I can actually include them in our class for 6 o'clock today. So they get to see how our class actually is going.
Aida, go ahead and tell me your number. I'm going to put it out there.
Okay, it's 973
973
650
650
0291.
0291.
Yes.
So I went ahead and put that in there, and it's Aida Boak.
That's a great opportunity because I've always said this. I've always said this to really anyone that I talk to about Keller Williams is don't take our word for our trainings and our culture and our environment. Plug into our trainings and actually experience it. I do believe that our world is a very experiential world. So please text, call Aida, plug into one of them, experience one of our trainings. So that way you know what you're coming into and the value that we're offering.
Yep. Topic today is actually purchasing contracts. So I think anybody can benefit from that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They should text me. So I will text them link back to a Zoom.
That's what I put in there. And we'll make sure they get that information. Thank you, Aida.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Aida. what I want to do now is I want to shift to our managing broker, Kieran Smithling. Mainly because, well, for a lot of reasons, but two of the reasons are he's in the PC coaching program. He's our managing broker, so he really helps out with the day-to-day broker related questions. So if you have concerns or challenges, Kieran's able to help with those. So Kieran, do you want to introduce yourself? How long you've been in the business? Where you came before joining our office, or who you were with, and your experience in the PC program.
And all your 3 kids' names and your birthday and your social security number. I'm just kidding.
Want some blood too?
Yeah. No.
So, Kieran Smithling.
Too soon.
Like Matt said, managing broker in the office. So I handle the day-to-day questions that do come up that you might not have the answer for. I also help with the compliance in the office, just keeping everybody from getting in trouble. I've been in the business since 2006. Well, I'd say I got licensed in 2006, got in the business in 2007. I was with 2 larger brokerages previously. And
Karen, what does that necessarily mean? You got licensed, but then you got in the business. What does that how did you define that? Because I want some of the people to know that they might have that time.
Sure. So I took the test, took the real estate school test, took the state test right away, and then it was still like kind of working, and I'm like, well, if I stop working, I don't know if I can just jump in, had bills to pay. And so I kind of kept working, and then I just jumped in both feet.
I'm just, because I hear this, and there was a bridge there that I think since that time has been created, which is like our launch coaching and our PC coaching program. When I got in the business in 2004, there wasn't that bridge like we have now, like you did not experience. And so you almost had to wait until you had that reserves, or you were willing to take that risk, or the pain was too much to stay doing what we were doing in order for us to jump in full force. So
absolutely. I definitely did not have that opportunity to or at least it wasn't made known to me to get into coaching, to try to kind of catapult you forward. Mm-hmm. So I held myself back a little bit.
Honest.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kieran, for sharing. And, as he mentioned, he helps out with a lot of the compliance, a lot of the transaction support, especially for new agents on your first couple ones. We usually rely on Kieran to help support in that arena as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if I could say that all the different MLSs have different rules, and when Kieran says he's trying to make sure you don't get in trouble, getting in trouble could be a $500 fine every month until certain paperwork gets to the correct MLS. And so he's risk management, damage control, brilliant mind, and he has tons of resources. If he doesn't know the answer, he'll go figure it out for us. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Darren.
All right.
What I want to do now is I'm going to bring on Megan Wobenhorst, because one thing that Mary Beth alluded to earlier was just how excited we are about the technology that we're in the world. Hey, Megan. And Megan actually just taught a class in the 2:00 hour on doing a virtual buyer presentation and listing presentation, or really just virtual presentations.
Did you do that with Stephanie?
Yeah, with Stephanie.
Awesome.
So Megan, introduce yourself. Let us know how long you've been in the industry. I know you've had your license in New York first, so maybe talk a little bit about where you started and where you are now.
Great. I'm Megan Wobenhorst. I run a team with my husband, Kurt. We have a small team. We have a director of operations and 2 part-time buyer's agents. And then we have another husband-wife team on our team who are full-time agents with us. One also does a little more admin. So that's kind of our team. We together have been in business. This is our 3rd year. I started in New York City doing rentals, actually. My husband and I just got married. I was a touring dancer and was helping my friends find cheap rental housing, but making money doing that, fell in love with real estate. We own a bunch of investment properties and are really passionate about helping people build wealth in real estate. So that's really my story. I've been with a total of 5 brokerages, actually, believe it or not. 3 of them actually were in New York. It was just a long time ago, very different thing. And Keller Williams actually wasn't in New York yet when I had my license there. They were just starting when we were moving to New Jersey. So came out to New Jersey, was with another large company, felt like I had no training at all because I went from rentals now to sales. So we really felt like we found our home at Keller Williams, and we are so grateful to be there, especially because my husband has a passion for teaching. I love coaching. That's really like where I think I thrive. So we're really happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you for sharing that information. And I guess the next thing I would ask you is, you've been with KW now for 2 years, about, and you've seen kind of the, shift in the focus on technology and our platform, the KW Command platform, as a CRM, as a lead generator, design generator. Talk to us a little bit about how you use those resources, and just your experience with the technology in our world.
Yes, I love technology. I am a big believer in a database. I used to build databases before, a long time ago, for companies in large Excel files, and it's very cumbersome if you've ever tried to build a very in-depth database through Excel. So when you try and find what we call a CRM, it's really a customer relationship management system that you try and keep all of your people, all of their contact info in one place. And so there's a lot of different programs out there that do that. They all cost money. So I used to do it old school in Excel. Doesn't really function that well. So Keller Williams actually developed their own, which is Command, and I am head over heels in love with Command because we actually were utilizing, I think it was it's 4 different platforms to do what Command does, and I have to individually pay for all of those 4 platforms. Yep. Command is an all-in-one thing. So when we switched to Command, we saved ourselves a few $1,000s a month from running our team. So that is huge, but the amount of information that you can keep in there, that is the lifeline of your business. And you can keep up with everything, what they're looking at on the internet. So any homes that they're searching for, you can keep track of their transaction if they're in the middle of contract. You can keep track of when they close so that you know when to send them an anniversary card. There's just so many things within the Command system that we absolutely love and we utilize. It sends automated emails on their specific neighborhood that they love. There's just so many things, and it's constantly developing. So every week, it's pretty much every day, it seems like there's a new update to it, to where there's more features, and it's constantly evolving. And then it also integrates with social media, which we're big believers in social media. We are millennials. It's just, we love social media. And then, it also, social media now is so interesting because you have so many age ranges on it, and Command allows you to capture that information and keep it in that database for you, and then communicate with them through ads, through paid ads, through unpaid ads, and get all that information. You can design the ad that you're doing. You can design the post. So it just does everything that we could want right now. And it's constantly changing. So even things I don't know that I want, it's gonna do. So we love it.
Hey, that's pretty awesome. Something knows what I want before I even know what I want, and is doing it for me.
Well, it's built by agents for agents. Yeah. And I think that's the big difference, is there's so many other platforms out there, and they're not built by agents. They're built by computer programmers who don't really know what the agent needs. So that's kind of why I love Keller Williams, and why I love what we've done with the tech, is because it is built by agents for agents. So you know that it's going to function the way you need it to function, whether you know it or not.
And one other part of that is that by agents for agents, with the customer experience in mind.
Go ahead, Matt. It's I was just going to say it's with the consumer-centric feel. So it's for agents, built by agents, yet it's designed for the consumer experience. And I've been to a lot of training seminars, and ultimately they equate KW Command, and it's an apt connection is like Amazon or Facebook or Netflix. When you're on those programs, they know you better than you know yourself. When you're on Netflix, if you watch a show about serial killers, they're going to say, well, because you watched this, you're probably going to like this. When you're on Amazon, if you buy, a shirt or whatever,
Toilet paper.
yeah, it's going to say, well, because you bought this, customers also liked this. And so to Megan's point, our platform is really built and designed so when consumers are using it, it's going to say, well, if you were interested in this, these are things that will also meet your criteria. And it's
It's also
captured in a way that's in your world.
it gives it back to the agent too. So, Matt, if you're on my consumer platform, my app, it's going to tell me you're looking at mostly homes that have 3 bedrooms, even though you might have told me that you really only need 2, you're only looking at 3-bedroom homes. So now I know in that next conversation I'm having with you, hey, you're looking at 3-bedroom homes. Do we need another bedroom? And then you find out, was there a life change? Is mom coming to live with them? What does it look like? And so you actually look very proactive. And it's built for you with the customer in mind. So it looks amazing on the front end. The app itself, the search function is unbelievably great. And it breaks it down by neighborhood, which most other platforms don't do. So, because everyone's got their own little neighborhoods within the town.
Well, and it all speaks to each other, and that, like, if you have something on the mobile app and, it's going to filter into command, and what you put, it all speaks to each other. So it's a very, it's
Intuitive.
I can't think of the word, but yeah, it all speaks to each other.
Intuitive.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a comment here, is that I'm from the next generation, like the next decade above these two, which is it's just relevant to this conversation. And I just believe that this technology really levels the playing field for agents. And so I don't want anybody who is maybe listening saying, I'm not techie, I can't do that, that's too much, and if that's what the real estate world is now, I'm not going to do well. That is not true. It's a very simple system, and then there's also ways to leverage what we do have. But the art of real estate, even though Megan's talking about what our technology will be able to do for you, at some point that person needs to speak to Megan. And so Megan still needs to have market information, knowledge, a needs analysis to have a conversation and pull out some, needs. And so there's a whole nother, after you capture them, you have to be able to cultivate. So if you're thinking like, I'm really good at, I think, the cultivating and the networking and the people person part of this career, because I'm sure that's what somebody said, hey, you're really good at talking with people. You should get into real estate. And now you're hearing, oh my goodness, I have to learn about all this technology. I don't want anybody to freak out that you're not going to be able to do the business, because you will. You will have to spend a little time in learning that part of the business. However, on the flip side, there's never been a time before in our industry that I could say to somebody who literally might be 18 years old and say, you, my friend, can be the next best real estate agent in the entire state of New Jersey, because look how fast you are on this. Look how you understand the technology, and you talk to people, and you have a liking for this real estate thing. So I don't want anybody who's coming into the industry now to compare themselves with anybody who's in the industry now, because this is a whole new, different entrance into our industry. And I'm just having this.
Well, there's a difference too. There's a difference too between being techie, I think, and like just utilizing tech. I'm not techie in any way, shape, or form. I can't fix a computer. I can't fix anything like that. That is not my jam. But I can figure out how something works if someone tells me, or I do the research myself. And, and we have so many tools there to help you. Myself and Kevin Smith is the other tech ambassador for the office. We're always here for your questions. And, we don't know, we have so many people we can go to figure out the answers to those things. But I just don't want people to be like, oh, well, I can't fix a computer. I mean, I can't either, but I can still run my tech, So it's very simple. And I think that's the thing.
And I think that's an important point, is like, I'm not somebody who can open up the back of a computer and be able to do all that. Yet, the thing that the technology is easy to use if you put time into it. Like, my mom, who's 65, 3 years ago, I never thought she'd have an iPhone using Facebook. Like 3 years ago, I'm like, ugh, like she'll never, I'd have to teach her everything. She's figured it out on her own. It's just she's had to actually take the time to do it. But just like all of us, we all had to learn how to use Facebook. We all had to learn how to use our phones. We all had to learn how to use whatever systems we're using. It's all tech. It's just
Well,
we have to learn to do it.
and some people would say, and I know we have to move on to the next
Yeah.
segment, but some people would say technology it's going to be an analysis by paralysis, right? Paralysis by analysis, or technology is going to interrupt the relationship. Put that technology down against the relationship. However, if we think about what technology allows us to do, it allows us to connect. We have to work it, and we should care about those relationships in there. But think about a time right now where we're able to see each other in a time where we really couldn't.
Yeah.
Or if we live far from family and or servicing different markets, or when snowstorm hits in New Jersey and you have to talk to a seller, but they're, you can't get to them because they're up in the mountains.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for technology
Absolutely.
and people like Megan Wibbenhorst who know how to use it better than I do.
Still learning. We're always learning. It changes so much. So
Leverage.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, for being on with us today, and we appreciate you.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
So what I want to do now, I'm going to see if we can get Lisa on here. I just requested her video. Lisa Roberts is our Market Center Administrator.
Hey,
There she is. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, everybody. Welcome
Would
to
you
our
like-
career hour. So what do you
Yes,
want to tell them, Matt? Give
Would
me
you like
some-
to introduce yourself, just who you are? Obviously you've been in the industry, even if not as a real estate agent for many years. So just kind of talk about your experience and who you are to our Market Center.
Well, who I am to the Market Center is by title, the Market Center Administrator. In some organizations, they would call me the CFO. I handle the budgets, I handle all the finances, the expenses, and most importantly for you as an agent, I handle your commission checks. I am sometimes referred to here at the Market Center as the mom. I'm also sometimes called the money fairy. A little bit of my background is I have been in some form of banking, finance, compliance, risk for almost 35 years now. Hence the name Mom. I love what I do. I love being here for the agents. I call this home for a lot of reasons because we are truly a family here. We work, you probably have heard in deciding to make a decision to be in real estate that it is such a competitive field. Yes, it is, but I will tell you, I am married to an agent who's been an agent for over 30 years. And until he came to Keller Williams, he never felt like he was part of a family because we work together. Everyone is invested. The staff and all the other agents is invested in you and giving you the support, the guidance, whatever you need. And my role here as CFO, as Market Center Administrator, I'm here to help you become the best you can possibly be.
I love that. Thank you, Lisa. And yeah, that pretty much summed up your role and what you mean to all of us. We love you.
The
And
fabulous cook.
yes, that too.
I don't know if you heard that on the bold call. Somebody was like, but is Lisa cooking? If Lisa's cooking, I'm in.
You could make a delivery business out of that, really.
I possibly could.
I think
Well,
I
I
lost-
can't wait for all this coronavirus to be done so everybody
Yeah.
come back and I can start to cook again.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on, and I can't wait to see you back in the office.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to everybody. Glad you joined us today.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Lisa. So, Mary Beth, the last person of our team, and definitely a very important, valued member of our team, and I'm just asking to start the video. Here's Allison Muller. She's our Director of Communications. So, Allison, would you like to introduce yourself to our attendees?
Sure. I'm Allison. I'm the Director of Communications. I've been working at Keller Williams for just over a year now. This is my first full-time job and I love it. So at the office, I'm the first person you see when you walk in. I sit at the front desk. I answer the phone. When you get started here, I can help you fill out your paperwork, send out your licensing paperwork to help you get started. I make all of our social media posts. I'll make your first round of business cards. I create our training calendar, among
Copy
many other
machine,
things.
the copy machine.
The copy, yeah, that too.
Eesh.
So Allison really helps us support, the agents on all levels. You had a graphic design background, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So, I mean,
I
so you'll
really
see
like
a
the
lot of
social media aspect.
absolutely. So you'll see a lot of our marketing pieces have a really sharp eye, sharp design on there. Allison's the mastermind behind all of them. We're very appreciative for all of that. And for agents coming in, she's able to support to really show you how the program she uses, the design section in KW Command, and all of that. Awesome. Well, thank you, Allison, for your
Thanks,
support and being on this call.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so Mary Beth, we have just a couple minutes left on today's session. I'd
Isn't
really
that a great group of people?
Yeah, I always love when we do this because I really love our team. I love just the collaborative nature that our office has. And Mary Beth, actually, before we open up to questions, next week we have Red Day, which is a week from tomorrow. And I think that, the culture element of our office is a very big piece, like what we do in our communities, what we do, really to support, for example, last month we supported the local Wayne Hospital and we provided meals for over, I think it was 200.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. It was a whole shift of staff, so doctors, nurses, and we did a GoFundMe account, and we really led the charge to spearhead that. Next week, Mary Beth, if you want to talk, talk about Mo Anderson before we got on the call. If you want to
Sure.
talk a little bit about Red Day and just what culture is to our office.
Sure. So Mo Anderson is the velvet hammer of our company. She is 83 years old now, and she did really start with Gary Keller to frontier the name of Keller Williams throughout the nation.
Yep.
And so her big thing is culture and how you treat people. We have what's called the Y4C2Ts,
Yep.
which is extremely important. It's on the wall right outside where Lisa sits. And Y4C2T stands for win-win, integrity, you do the right thing, commitment, customers, creativity, and communication, and then seek first to understand, success through others, and teamwork. And so it's super important that we're in business with you. And it's not that we're only in business with you, we're in business with your whole family. Our values should align. And that wall right there is a great check-in point. And Matt, I mean this. We mean this when we say this. If we're not good on one of those items and we can't see eye to eye on that, we're probably not the company for you.
Yeah.
And yet we will stand behind you if those things are important: communication, customers, creativity, all that fun stuff. Integrity being one of the biggest. So Mo Anderson, who kind of instilled this thread of culture in our company, her birthday, I want to say it was her 70th birthday. I think it's her 70th. She asked the company to go out there and do something good for the company.
Yeah.
And she called it Red Day: renew, energize, and donate. And so she tasked all of the offices, all of the market centers with Keller Williams to go out and do that. Now it's the second Thursday of every May,
Yep.
every year. And so things that we do this year, because we're limited with COVID, this year we are raising money through a GoFundMe account.
Yep.
And we are just giving back to some of the volunteer hero positions.
Yep.
So we have a bunch of towns that the EMS and fire departments are completely volunteer, and we're giving back in that way, whatever they may need. And so our agents are very servant leader minded.
Yeah.
We've collected food for food drives at the YMCA, and we also have there's a Wayne organization that we're going to be helping in the future.
Yeah.
That helps needy families in our area. So super proud of our agents.
Absolutely. I know one year I did a Habitat for Humanity project with the Morristown location. It's a very fulfilling experience, and it's a day where all agents really step out of their businesses, and really support those local communities.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I I don't know of any other companies that were doing this at all until a few years ago. A couple of the other franchises started to realize that I believe that this was the difference of Keller Williams, is that there was culture that was at the thread of it. And so some of the companies have adopted it since, which is a great thing. We
Which
can
is good.
inspire, if we can inspire greatness, we
Yeah.
don't care who's doing it.
Absolutely. So, Mary Beth, I just asked in the chat box if anyone has any questions for us. I don't see any right now. If anybody does, I don't know if you can raise your hand through the chat, because we can unmute you now if you do have a question. If not, thank you to all of the attendees who have been on this call. Yes, or okay, so I think Allison's just giving the option to unmute yourselves if you want.
If you want.
But yes, thank you for attending. And as Mary Beth said earlier in the chat or on the call, I will be reaching out to all of you tomorrow. I have a study guide that can help you on your class exam, state exam. If you're already in class or through your class, I can support you to really coach you through those next steps and what they would look like with our office.
Yeah, and I would just also encourage you, if you found great value in this and there's maybe somebody else out there, just invite them to come on next Wednesday. Even if they have a license and they are affiliated with a different company and maybe they're just looking for the right place, or you think some of the things that we said here, especially with our coaching, could be of value, then please just share the same Zoom link that you did.
Awesome. Thank you. And George, thank you. He just said thank you for this. It makes him excited for the future of real estate. So
Awesome, George.
yeah,
You go
so
kill it.
we're excited to continue this conversation, and have a great rest of your day. And I'll be in touch with you all tomorrow.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.